Madam President, we have a situation.
Ma'am, apprehension is minutes away.
A little much, don't you think, Mom?
Zip it.
Den 10. april er der streamingpremiere på Amazons actionbrag G20, hvor Oscar-vinderen Viola Davis spiller USA's præsident Daniel Sutton.
Come on, Madam President.
Oh, damn. Now he gotta go save the world.
Hun er en tidligere soldat, der får brug for sin gamle træning, da en gruppe terrorister overtager G20-topmødet i Sydafrika og tager adskillige statsledere som gidsler.
3, 2, 1. To the government's watching, I've taken the G20 by force.
Og nej, det er ikke ligefrem en synderligt original opskrift på en actionbasker. Og der bruges især mange ingredienser for Die Hard og Air Force One.
Your parachute.
I'm not leaving without my family.
My husband and kids are missing. We have to find them.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
What are you after?
I'm after you.
Men den færdige ret er ofte tilfredsstillende, især fordi filmen har en så fantastisk skuespiller som Viola Davis i hovedrollen.
Drop it! Guns, 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 guns.
Davis er trods alt en såkaldt EGOT, altså en af de blot 21 personer, der både har vundet en Emmy, en Grammy, en Oscar og en Tony. Altså de største priser inden for henholdsvis tv, musik, film og teater.
You get around, don't you?
I'll get around to you too.
Og overfor Davis finder vi Antony Starr, der spiller terroristernes leder.
Lady, you fought a war over gasoline.
I served my country just as I serve it now.
Yeah, blindly. You serve it blindly.
You were used by them then, and they're using you now.
Og nøjagtigt ligesom i tv-hittet The Boys.
You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Så den newzealandske skuespiller også her en fornøjelse.
Find her.
Som en snærende psykotisk skurk. En anden af filmens veloplagte stjerner er Ramón Rodríguez, som spiller den karismatiske Secret Service-veteran Manny Ruiz.
What about the cat team?
That first explosion came from the east wing, in that honeymoon suite. If I was taking down this party, that cat team would be my primary target.
Rodríguez fik sit store gennembrud i den legendariske tv-serie The Wire, hvor i han spillede Omar Littles kæreste, Ronaldo.
Pile mierda. Why not give me a water pistol?
Hey, yo, Ronaldo, you just worry about how we gonna do.
Og derudover har Rodríguez blandt andet lavet en masse forskellige actionfilm.
This time we go, we'll get it done. We're going out like men, understand?
Og lige nu imponerer han i titelrollen i den populære detektivserie Will Trent.
Don't point guns at people. It's rude.
Vi har interviewet Rodríguez, og så har vi også talt med filmens prominente producer, Andrew Lazar, der blev Oscar-nomineret for sit arbejde på Clint Eastwoods American Sniper. Og hvis bagkatalog indeholder så forskelligartede film som 10 Things I Hate About You, Jonah Hex,
Hey, Heck, what happened to your face?
Got myself shaven. What happened to yours?
og George Clooney's instruktørdebut Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Perfect cover. TV producer by day, CIA operative at night. Think of it as a hobby, something you do to relax.
The exercise was do Air Force One meets Die Hard. You know, the movie probably would have completely fallen over if there wasn't like Viola at the center, like completely grounding it. And you believe it, you know, every frame you believe she's the president.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got an EGOT playing that part, you almost feel like wanting to salute just by watching her on screen, you know, because it just, you know, she exudes gravitas, you know. And speaking of Viola Davis, you reached out to her apparently way back in 2016 about the possibility of doing this film. And obviously that's before she does The Woman King, which is the first time she does action. And obviously she has the gravitas, like we're talking about, to portray the American president. But what was it about her that convinced you before she'd done any action that she could actually carry an action film?
Well, I mean, just Viola's presence is badass. Look, we got the benefit. We were being developed at the same time as Woman King, and Woman King went first. And I think it was great that Viola had all that action training, but I never doubted for a minute that she couldn't do it. I mean, it's like she's a badass. You know, I didn't know that she was going to be so committed to the training that she did, which was amazing. But I never doubted for a second she couldn't do it.
The thing that I enjoyed the most was the chemistry between you and Viola Davis, and the interplay between your characters, because I think you perfectly walk that line between sass and seriousness that the film is also aiming for.
Right.
And I gotta hear, like, it must have been a blast testing out your acting chops next to Viola Davis, but was it also a bit intimidating, because I mean, she is an EGOT, you know, so, you know.
No doubt. An EGOT and a well-deserved EGOT. You know, she makes it so easy, to be honest. She really does. You know, there's an ease, and she's generous. You know, there's certain actors you can deal with different personalities. She's not that, thankfully and wonderfully. She's everything you hope for and more. And so the moment you kind of meet her, there's a big smile and a warm hug, and you just go, okay, this is going to be fun. And yeah, I really loved that relationship, and I think, you know, I did my best to try to show and portray this history and this bond that they have. And like you said, you know, ride that fine line of he has to do his job. He has to keep her alive. That's the #1 priority for him. Nothing else matters.
Your survival is what matters most. I will not leave them.
And so he's gonna push back on that, but at the end of the day, she's the president of the United States, and if she says, you know, and so we had to ride that line, and I liked, because I think Manny, and because of their history, it wasn't so typical, so he got to push the envelope a bit more. He got to push back at her at times, but at the end of the day, I think hopefully we understood it came from love, and he just wanted to protect her, and he was willing to do anything and go to great lengths to keep her alive. And like I've said, you know, he just kept coming back. His resilience and just not willing to let go and keep coming back. I love that about him. There was just a real spirit that I gravitated towards. And so, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
He is a diehard, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look like they're guarding the doors more than us.
How ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I meant to be bagging down those doors by now.
I read a great interview with Patricia Ricken, the director of the film, of course, who talks about wanting to cast a Latino man and a black woman in these two main parts in order to, you know, challenge perceptions.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, like, was that a notion that sort of appealed to you about this project? And also, is that also maybe a notion that carries extra weight right now?
I mean, for me, you know, it's very rare I receive a script that I go, wow, directed by Latina. Cool. Oh, wow, lead is an African-American actress, an EGOT, by the way. You know, it's just the DP, who's Patricia's husband, is Latino, Checo. It's just a beautiful group, and I feel like it's a representation of the world, at least the world I live in, and I love seeing that, and I think perception is powerful. You know, it really is, and being able to see these roles and this Secret Service agent and the president, you know, and that we're all capable of doing it, and these stories are available. Why not, you know, really be able to be out there and put them out there and tell them? It does matter. It's something that resonates with me deeply, and I know it mattered a lot to Patricia. We had a lot of conversations about this, like, how great is this opportunity? We recognized it. It wasn't, you know, lost upon us that to see a Latina director, Latino lead with Viola, you know, at #1 was really a powerful thing, you know, and we knew what opportunity we had, and we just wanted to make sure we executed and do what all the great classic, you know, action films that I grew up loving, the Die Hards, the Air Force Ones, that they could pull off, that we could do that too.
Yeah.
You know who I am? I'm the President of the United States.
Fictional American presidents in movies. They're often the boldest, bravest, you know, most inspirational of heroes. You got, I mean, we talked about Air Force One, Harrison Ford in that. You got Bill Pullman in Independence Day.
Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Martin Sheen in The West Wing.
We're still in NATO, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you got Viola Davis in G20. And I find it so fascinating because I guess you'd say that, I mean, arguably since Richard Nixon,
well, I'm not a crook.
Presidents have been fairly divisive in America. So I find it so interesting that there's this enduring notion in Hollywood of making the American president this inspirational, unifying hero. I mean, why do you think that trope persists? And do you think it will persist?
Well, I think, you know, part of movies is wish fulfillment. We all want to be closer together. And I think that, like, we all want to be harmonious with our neighbors. And I do think hopefully that we will, so it is wish fulfillment, and it is, you can dream. And look, I think that if entertainment can bring people closer together and realize that, I feel like there's the pressure of the presidency, what makes it so interesting, the weight of the world on your shoulders. And imagine if you are having to be a parent while being the most powerful person in the world. So I think there's going to always be this mythology about making movies about American presidents because there's so much good drama. And hopefully you see our movie and realize it's just a lot of fun. And it's just entertaining. And we always aspire to be the best versions of ourselves. And I think films really help us do that.
I've got your family.
You're never gonna make it out of here alive.
Another interview I read was with Antony Starr, who said you pulled through this production despite getting both COVID and stung by scorpions. I just wanted to,
Is he out there telling these stories? Is that what's happening? Antony's out there telling these stories. He's right. I can't believe he said that. But yeah, when I first arrived to Cape Town, I was in this in this home I was living in, I was stung by a scorpion for the first time in my life while sleeping in the middle of the night. And then we had to stop the shoot because of the writer's strike. And when I went back to finish the film, I came back because I was on another set filming. I brought COVID with me, which was really awesome. And we had to shut down for a little bit, but then we picked back up. I mean, this was a tricky film to execute, but we got it done. I'm gonna take note on Antony. Yeah. Starting to tell these things. See if you got some great stories. Exactly. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna save that. Yeah.
Do it. Zip it. Andrew, I only have 1 minute left. I gotta ask, because one of my favorite items is this Kaneda, Akira, motorbike. And I know you've been working on adapting this movie for such a long time, along with Leonardo DiCaprio's production company and Taika Waititi. I just got to know, is there any update on the status of that project?
There's no update, but I expect we'll have one in the next couple of months. We are, so I think you can expect an update in the next couple of months.
Cool. Hoping to talk to you soon about that film then on the next day.
Excellent.
Mom, watch out!
She's kind of a badass.